You mentioned, Gary, the talent being a big part of the decision there. When it comes to fintech, most people don't think of Jacksonville, right? It's a talking point for us in our show to let people know that we are a leader in the fintech space and we've been growing so much. Could you share your thoughts on our talent pool here, specifically in the fintech industry, and why that was such a positive for you to make that decision?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think people don't, it's kind of like FIS, we're a B2B company, so we're fairly unknown, right, in consumer ranks. When you look at our stock and how it trades, it's not a consumer driven stock. So a lot of people don't even understand what FIS is, but we're not the only fintech here in Jacksonville. I mean, I just talked about Black Knight's success. You look, Dun & Bradstreet's in the process of moving to Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. You look, there's a number of really large key fintechs in the market today. And in Jacksonville specifically, large financial institutions have a large presence. So there's huge demand for talent here. The good news is Jacksonville is starting to become more and more a destination for that talent, and as you think about it, it's getting easier and easier to recruit people to the city because we're becoming more known. I think, look, when Jacksonville last year was in the top 10 for destination cities in the country for people moving here. Now that creates some other challenges, real estate, you keep talking about real estate, look at what's going on in residential real estate. It's going to start becoming an issue if we can't get ahead of that curve. Mm-hmm. And so, because when people relocate here, they're going to want a home, they're going to want a nice home, they're going to want to have, schools that they can move their kids into. So all of this has to work together. And so far, the city's done a very nice job of keeping up with demand, but the demand's going to certainly accelerate. And it's not just financial technology. I think last time I looked, Jacksonville was the fastest growing city in Florida. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of demand to move to the state. You've got a lot of great benefits from a tax standpoint on a personal basis. So there's all of these things that help, but the challenge is it's all got to work in concert. And so if we at FIS, which as I said, we've committed to 500 new jobs, we've already added 250 new jobs and the building's not even open. So mm-hmm. just during the last 12 to 14 months, we've done half of that, and that'll continue to grow. But the interesting issue is, let's say that we end up getting, we start running into a recruiting problem or a lack of talent problem or a housing problem. That list goes on and on and on. We'll recruit in Cincinnati. We'll recruit in Orlando. So as a large company, we defer that risk by having a multi-location strategy. But ideally, what we'd like to do is grow as much of our talent here as possible.
You bring up so many interesting points. I wanted to make one of the connections there. The reason why, if I'm just thinking about as an investor or the city of Jacksonville, the reason why it's so important to have companies like FIS here as our foundation is not just for the talent today, but it's to make sure that we attract the right talent for tomorrow. And ultimately, if you're a real estate investor, right, the fact that supply is low right now and demand is high is what's raising prices. But if you don't continue to raise median incomes, prices won't raise forever, right? So our job here as investors is to make sure that if we're thinking about the problems for today, it might be, cash flow and return on investment, but the problems for tomorrow, 10-year, 20-year problems is how are we going to raise median incomes? That's why the city comes together to do whatever we can to make sure. And Gary's talking about his other friends at other companies around here, well-established companies as well, they're changing their plans as well. It's because if we can make sure that everybody together here in Jacksonville is helping to bring the right talent in, that median income raises. Gary, I was doing some of the research before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with the 500 new jobs that you're adding as a part of the incentive package, those have an average salary, I believe, of $85,000. Is that?
That sounds right. Yeah. I don't have it in front of me, but that's not, if anything, it could be a little higher than that after it's all said and done. I mean, these are really high paying jobs that are coming to the city. I mean, we're bringing in, computer engineers at significant levels. We're bringing in, executives from around the world that are coming in. So, yeah, I think that's very.
If we're taking what Gary's sharing with us here and you're extrapolating it, how are you going to earn the best return on investment over the next full real estate market cycle, right? These types of jobs, these types of salaries today, and continuing to grow that is how you manage your money effectively, being in a place that continues to have that upward mobility of incomes.
That's
is
right.
going to be more and more important in the future.
Gary, how much do you contemplate that stuff? How much are you thinking actively about the future of the urban core as it relates to your building, the millennial workforce wanting to have walkable urban environments, stuff like that? Do you see yourself playing a role in that development of this urban core here? And what is kind of your vision for it if you had one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've already participated in a number of engagements with the mayor and various groups here. You know, it's very important that we continue to revitalize downtown. I mean, we've committed, as I said, $200 million plus of just building our corporate building. We're doing a lot of things that hopefully we can utilize this structure not only for FIS's benefit, but for the broader community's benefit, after hours programs, engagements. And we really plan on this being, you know, a very open facility to the community at large. I mean, you know, you hear comments about you can have problems parking downtown, and we're going to be opening up our parking deck after hours and on weekends to provide that source of people access to the urban core, as you mentioned. But it's also important that we focus on, you know, safety, that we focus on the environment, that we focus on the walkability of the city. You know, as we recruit millennials, people are looking for access, right? You know, and one of the things I'm enjoying seeing all the apartments coming up in the area, all the rental properties coming up in the area. But that's going to be very important because this next generation of talent that we're bringing in for these jobs, they want to have that walkability. They want to have that access to restaurants. They want to have that access to entertainment. And that transcends not only during the week, but also on the weekend. So we're very involved and want to be more involved in that process. We've assigned a number of people at FIS to various committees that are looking at ways to improve downtown, and that's going to be something that we're going to have to continue to strive for. So I'm very excited of all the things I see going on, and hopefully we'll continue that in the coming years.